Beastars Season 1 came out in the West on March 13th, 2020. It hyped up everyone and got so many more people into the manga. Throughout 2020, the manga ran strong. Okay, I wouldn't say strong because that final arc and ending was... the manga ended October 8th, 2020. It was a sad moment for us all. But luckily, Season 2 of the Beastars anime was inching up close, and at the beginning of 2021, we got it. It aired strong from January 2021 to March 2021. Luckily, after that, we fans still had something to look forward to, that being the English dub of Season 2 that was coming out in July 2021. July 2021 came and went, the dub came out, and then honestly, we weren't sure what was coming next. It was like that for a while, actually. We didn't know if the anime was going to continue. Almost half a year later, we got an announcement that the next season will be the final season. Okay, cool. Hello? Huh. Yeah, for the greater portion of 2022, we had no news at all. Beastars just kind of laid completely dormant, with the manga being finished for a while. Almost nothing about the new season on the way, people feeling lackluster about the manga's ending, and people not liking the anime's second season ending. I feel like all these factors added up with Beastars kind of fading a bit in the public consciousness. I unfortunately don't see as many people discussing Beastars anymore. Season 3 is coming, but it's floating deep within limbo right now, and there's nothing happening for the foreseeable future that would warrant it coming out of that limbo. Season 3 isn't scheduled to come out until 2024. That's a while away from now. So what do we do until then? Well, honestly, I'm not quite sure. Rewatch one of your favorite episodes, reread one of your favorite chapters, I don't know. Honestly, I guess right now, we just sit tight and wait until the future. If you're wondering what Paru Itagaki, author of Beastars, is up to right now, well, shortly after she ended Beastars, she did a short run of a manga called Boda Boda. It's about a girl who gets a nosebleed every time she sees something gross. She bleeds when she has sex, and she doesn't want to see that as a gross thing, so she wants to have sex enough times that her body will stop reacting in disgust. It's certainly an out there concept, but I get the message that it's trying to say, and I think that it's pretty cool. But that was a short run. Paru is now well into her new manga series, Sanda. If you thought that the last arc of Beastars was wacky, holy fuck, you haven't seen anything yet. Sanda is about young Sanda right here. He's just an average 14-year-old living in post-global warming Japan. Sanda is just minding his business until one day he learns that he's the descendant of Santa Claus and must be broken free of the curse put on his family, holding back his Christmas powers. Which he is. And now Sanda, as buff Santa, has to go out and fight the forces of evil along with Rukia Kuchiki. Look. Paru has admitted in the past, in her autobiography, that she has a Santa fetish. You're really making your manga about this? I mean, but hey, if it works, which honestly it does. Only 13 chapters of this manga have been translated because there's literally 5 people who read this, and there's not enough people to translate it weekly. So 13 chapters is all we'll get for the time being. Trust me, this manga takes the out-of-place wackiness that didn't work in the final arc of Beastars and puts it in a place where it could thrive. If you want a fun, wacky, yet surprisingly pretty gripping manga, I recommend you check out Sanda. It seems like this is what Paru has her focus on for the time being. She may go back from time to time to make more Beast Complex chapters, but for now, it's Sanda. So now that we know what Paru has been up to, let's talk about what the future for Beastars might be like. Well, the gap between seasons 1 and 2 was about a year and a couple months, so why the big gap here? Well, this isn't entirely confirmed yet, but I think this gap is because of the fact that we are probably getting 24 episodes. Guys, the anime still has to cover 98 more chapters, which was the exact length of the chapters that seasons 1 and 2 covered combined. I was surprised when they announced that season 2 would only be 12 episodes. Even with that surprise, I felt that it was possible. But for the final season, yeah, no way in hell they could fit all that into 12 episodes. So yeah, I feel like it's very likely that season 3 is going to be 24 episodes. Or at least more than 12 episodes, please. Rumors are going around that season 3 is going to fix a lot of the problems that the final arc had, and look, I really don't think they're going to make any substantial changes. People were saying the same thing with season 2, but the issues that were there in that arc of the manga were still there in the anime. I'm not saying it's not possible for there to be a complete rewrite of the ending of the manga within season 3, I'm just saying I think that it's really unlikely. As for if I think season 3 is going to be good or not, yeah, I think it will be pretty good for the most part. First off, it's adapting the life as a high school dropout arc, which is like the second best arc in the manga. It is legitimately one of the most immersive, atmospheric arcs I have ever read in a manga. And I do think that it's going to be pretty popular when it gets adapted into the anime. As for the Revenge the Love Failure arc, look, the first half of this arc is legitimately great. It sets up so many different plot elements and they're all really interesting. The second half of the arc just fails to pay all that setup off in any meaningful way. That's what my main issue is with the finale of the series. I'm really curious to see how the anime adapts it and what a wider audience will think of it, but that's not until sometime in 2024. So all we could do for now is just sit and wait. Man, things really do seem dead for the time being. Yeah. Beastars being dead. Is that really what I wanted to make this video about? Or was this really just one aspect of something I wanted to cover as a whole? Ever since August 2021, I started posting less and less. Months would go by with nothing, and then finally when I would upload, they would just be update videos. There has not been a main series Beastars video on my channel in 14 months, but to me, those 14 months have felt so much longer. With the state that my channel is at, it leads me to ask the question myself. Is Kamui Miracle dead? Well, as it currently stands, yes. But do I want it to stay that way? Well, after almost 2 years of thinking about that question, I have finally come to the conclusion that no, I don't want it to die. I want to keep this channel going and make it a thing that makes me feel happiness again instead of it bringing me down. Ever since the beginning of 2021, I told myself that when COVID gets a bit better and I finally go to college in person for my sophomore year, I was going to drop YouTube and move on to getting into my career. I was naive then, and have learned so much more about myself and the world since. When I finally got to college in person, I wanted to completely reinvent myself, and at the time, I felt that included leaving Kamui Miracle behind. Now that has been over a year later, I realized that isn't what I wanted. I forgot the reason why I wanted to make videos in the first place, to cover topics I'm passionate about. I also failed to realize when that passion felt burned out a bit, and what to do when that happens. By that passion, I don't just mean Beastars. I mean YouTube in general. The current dormant state of Beastars was my entire surface excuse to myself for not wanting to come back, but I have to be honest with myself. That was nowhere near the only reason. When I think back on the start of my channel in 2019, all the way up until I went off to college in person, that feels like a completely different era of my life. I am very different from when I started, and with the things I know now, I'm happy not to be that person anymore. I've said this on the channel like a million times, but yeah. When my initial Beastars video blew up, I was shocked. I was not expecting it at all, but I wanted to go with it because of how much I loved Beastars and how much passion I had for creating content. I was an 18-year-old senior in high school at the time. I had just become an adult and was geared up to make it out there in the world. I didn't realize that I needed to conquer my two biggest issues before I could even begin to think about myself as ready. I was obsessed with what everyone thought of me, and I was an absolute people pleaser, doing anything to please everyone. But I ignored that side of me, and I continued to view the world through a sugar-coated lens. I thought that college was an automatic gateway to getting the career of your dreams, and that once you're there, all your problems just go away. I was just some kid with big dreams who couldn't realize his flaws and thought that the world was just gonna bend over for him. Since the beginning, I had always seen YouTube as a temporary thing to do until I went off to college because of what I mentioned prior about my sugar-coated view of the world. My senior year of high school went on and I made more videos. My channel continued to grow and I was overall having a really great time in life in general. Then COVID hit. I was devastated, but with the newly given free time, I decided to use that to become completely absorbed in my channel and the internet as a whole. Remember how I said that when I was 18, I thought that I had all of my flaws figured out and that I was super experienced in the school of life? Well, yeah, no, I couldn't have been more wrong. I knew nothing as an 18-year-old. I hadn't stepped foot out of my private Catholic school bubble. I had never even taken a sip of alcohol before, had never been to a traditional party, had never even had sex. And I certainly never even stopped to consider the perspectives of other groups besides my own. I'm gay, so I thought that since I had no sexual business with women, I could just completely ignore the issues that they faced. That toxic mindset subconsciously fueled my terrible victim-blaming perspective I had in Beastars' most tragic side story. I made that video towards the end of my senior year of high school, and my mind was completely set on getting a good career and being successful. What people hammer into us kids growing up is that if we make one mistake, our life is over. I completely and idiotically subscribed to this mindset because it was what helped fuel how hard I am on myself. So when I saw Erdo and Akko's story happen, all I could think about was how Erdo's life was ruined because of the blemish on his record. I blamed Akko for this and was just generally being a dick in that video. I eventually truly learned where I went wrong in that mentality because I actually fucking touched grass and started actually getting out of my house more when COVID was starting to settle down. In fact, I expressed my new beliefs and apologized where I went wrong in Beastars' most tragic side story revisited, because I genuinely very much understand how wrong I was in that video. But let's get back to 18-year-old me. I refuse to acknowledge this video's existence for 2.5 years now, but now that I have grown up more and experienced so much more in life, I want to own up to and atone for that video. The Haru video. For everyone that's been asking for the past 2.5 years, yes, it was real and public on my channel for around a week. This video was where every single one of my issues back then all clashed together, and I learned a very valuable lesson in life that I felt I really needed to learn. In the Haru video, I made a lot of comments slut-shaming her. I put her down for her exploring her sexuality, and I had no right to do that. The backlash I got on this video was immense, but completely and entirely deserved. I was some virgin saying that I didn't want to sleep with someone who sleeps around, that sleeping around devalues a person. So many people commented on that video with how rude I was, and I had quickly realized where I went wrong. I made apology replies to so many of those comments, and then I eventually just privated the video as a whole with how awful I felt about it. People drill us growing up how one mistake will ruin our careers. And with me wanting everyone to like me and people being harsh on me, I thought that I was done as a YouTuber. During the week that the video was up, I would sit in bed all day dwelling over this video. But what I realized in many of those comments was that people were saying that they were disappointed in me, but they wanted to see me get better. They wanted to see me learn, change, and grow. That's when I realized that making mistakes in your career is okay and normal, and that they are needed for someone to become better at both their career and just become better as a person. I really needed to become better as a person. Now I'm 21. I went off to college, and I've experienced so much now. That includes numerous sexual experiences, which do not devalue me as a person. I wish I could go up to that 18-year-old terminally online virgin me and slap him in the face, but I can't. He's gone, he's dead, and he no longer exists. He thought that because of the Haru video, when he made videos on female characters, he was afraid to say anything negative, but he was naive and missing the point with where he went wrong with the Erdo and Akko videos entirely. That's what led him to making Beastars another tragic side story. He didn't criticize any of Toki's selfish actions and rightfully got a lot of criticism from it. He's gone, but then a new me appeared. That was the 19-year-old me. And he is what persisted until August 2021. The Ibuki video, the final mainline Beastars video on this channel as of now. Even despite my mistakes, I still had very much enjoyed YouTube, but that was starting to change. I was still terminally online and pretty naive. There were a lot of dramas in my online circles, and because I was a people pleaser who wanted everyone to like me, I let so many people walk all over me. I only continued YouTube because I thought that it would keep me relevant online, and without the internet, I had nothing. I did Beastars videos because I genuinely loved the series, but I was also afraid to expand out of just that series. I started to get into other interests, but I didn't feel confident enough to make a video about them. The reason why I was afraid to take that risk is because I became absolutely obsessed with numbers and spent days constantly checking my analytics. It was so unhealthy, and being terminally online didn't help it at all. That's why towards the beginning of 2021, I decided that August 2021 was going to be my final video. My college announced that we were going back to school in person for the next school year, and I knew that was my way out of all of this anxiety. Thinking back on it, I realized that my YouTube channel was never the problem. It was the emphasis I put on my online life with people I met through my YouTube channel that caused me to have a mental association with just YouTube in general. I had thought that the only way to be a YouTuber was that you had to have your life 100% in it, that you had to constantly interact with the community online in order for you to be relevant. I wanted to be relevant to people so badly. I wanted people to like me so much. I tried to please everyone. I let people say awful things to me, and I let people take advantage of me. I was miserable. YouTube was no longer fun because it felt like I had no separation from it in my day-to-day life. COVID happened at the worst possible time in my life. In a crucial stage in my life where I was finally old enough to go and experience the world for myself. I was shoved back into my shell and heavily regressed. But remember what I said in the Ibuki video? How every long dark tunnel, no matter how far it stretches, even if it seems endless, has a light at the end of it? August 2021 came and I moved into college. When I did that, I took a step back from all my internet circles and just lived in the now. I became so much happier. I didn't realize how easy it was just to close the laptop and walk away. I soon then realized that I did want to continue my channel because I could without having to be online 24/7 really at all. I made some amazing friends here at college and owe them so much for how much they have changed my life. From August 2021 to September 2021, I felt I had become an entirely different person. I had learned and grown so much because I finally got my chance to go out in the world and experience it. Although every time the thought came to me that I wanted to make a new video, not only did schoolwork and social life hold me back, the really bad memories I had of it stung every time I thought about returning. I did end up making some videos, but nowhere near the amount I wanted to make. A year has passed, and now we're here in October 2022. After so much thinking, I finally had the resolve to come back. The reason for that is quite loaded, but I'll tell you regardless. I mentioned how even after all this time, I saw college as this place that guarantees you for success and all of your problems go away. But as I went throughout the school year in person, I learned that isn't quite the case. I want to go into the industry of television and film, more specifically scriptwriting, which is somewhat a niche career. Honestly, I'm willing to take almost anything in English. It's just been hard to find internships or co-ops that aren't teaching. I definitely have an issue of comparing myself to others. I'm fully aware of that. I'm working on it, trust me. I see my friends around me getting co-ops and internships in the exact fields they want, getting the right experience and making the connections they need. And then I look at myself and I feel like I'm going nowhere, even though I'm really trying hard not to do that. I wanted to do Shadow Reaper, but because of health and budgetary reasons, I had to put that on hold. Currently, to give myself portfolio work, I'm working on a small personal project that you'll probably see more of in the summer. But for the time being, I feel like I'm getting nowhere, and it's really scaring me. I'm in my third year of college, and I'm rapidly approaching my senior year. The deadline to get a good job seems almost suffocating. Am I even cut out for something big? How will I ever get there? I have a real question. Why do I think down on myself like this? It has taken me way too long to realize this, but yeah, I don't give myself enough credit for anything. I keep forgetting everything I've done already and act like all the hard work I put into all of those videos meant nothing. I'm constantly in a battle with my own self-confidence, and I feel like I'm almost never allowed to accept any W I take and only think about the things I find negative about myself. Well, yeah, it's not healthy to revel in the things you're proud about too much. But like, if you don't stop every now and then to remind yourself of the positives in your life, you're gonna be, again, miserable. Life happens. I have no idea what opportunities are gonna pop up from now until May 2024. Something could happen. I could get my foot in the door somewhere. I don't know when or how, but it could happen. I mean, I never predicted that I was gonna get into YouTube and make a bunch of videos. Life just did its thing. That thing being very unpredictable. And yeah. The next thing I knew, I became a YouTuber. Stressing out at every single second of my life about what I'm going to do after college isn't healthy. I need to be able to let loose and just relax for a second. I just gotta keep reminding myself that one way or another, things will work out, because knowing me, I know I will always find a way to make something work. In the meantime, I gotta embrace the now and do what I can do. And that's what I plan on. So many people have asked me why I've just given up on YouTube when I had a good thing going. I never really have a solid answer for them as to why. Although, Hearing stuff like this takes me back to a more simple time when YouTube was fun, and I did it because I was truly passionate about it. That all leads me back to a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to my screenwriting professor. He's had multiple experiences in the industry, and I wanted to hear his story on how he was able to get there. He told me that he just performed at comedy clubs and kept exercising his craft, and eventually people saw and wanted to work with him. He knows about my YouTube channel, and he's really impressed by it. He told me that what I got going is great and that I just need to continue. I told him how hesitant I was about returning to it. That's when he looked me in the eye and told me that I just have to move forwards and make it my own again. Those words have been ringing in my head over and over for the past few weeks. Move forwards and make it my own again. I regret parts of the past. I fear for coming back because of those memories. I fear that people won't be happy if I expand from just doing Beastars. I let fear consume me. Fuck it. That past me, the me that I was during all those videos, he's grown up, and that old one is gone now. Now in his place, I have to come back to the channel and make it my own again. And that's exactly what I plan to do. I love doing YouTube, and you know what? I still love it. And I'm gonna make sure that it never becomes a thing of disdain in my life ever again. So I've fully made up my mind. I'm returning to YouTube. For real this time. Kamui Miracle is not dead. I'm gonna continue and go back to doing what I love. I am still going to have Beastars content, but I also really want to expand into some other territories too. I want to be experimental and make videos about all sorts of different things. I know, I did promise the Juno video, and I do gotta make that eventually, but for my own sanity right now, let's just put that up on the shelf and just let me ease back into this YouTube thing. I actually have a Bleach video soon, and it's meant for people who have never watched or read it before. So please just do me a favor, guys, and check it out. I know it's something new and something different and something not familiar, but it's still me, and I really hope you guys will enjoy it. And even if that video or future videos don't do well, I will still be proud of my work regardless, because I know how hard I worked on and how much fun I had putting those videos together. So let that stand as a message for all of you. Don't let your greatest enemy, that being your own fear, hold you back from continuing to do something you love. If you feel out of touch with your original motivation, you gotta take that step forwards and make it your own again. The future is extremely uncertain, but we can't let that scare us. We have the present, a gift given to us for getting through the past. I know, it's really hard not to be overwhelmed by what once was, but you gotta accept that you have the ability to change yourself in the now. Never forget that you have the ability to achieve your goals as long as you stick to them and believe in yourself. I still have a lot of work to do too, trust me, but I'm gonna do my best to hold my head high when facing all the unknown I have lying ahead of me. Even if what lies before you seems impossible and what's behind you is filled with regret, you have to take that step forward and conquer your fears. You got this.